Hi everyone. This is our new video today related to the shrimp feed and nutrition. As you remember that we ran the survey, we ran the poll on the YouTube about which video would you like to have to be the next one to be discussed on the aquaculture tribe. So most people said that they want a video on shrimp. So today then I made this lecture on introduction to the shrimp feed and nutrition. So my purpose is to start slow and small and give you the little overview about the nutrition, like the same way you have how to make fish feed videos where you have normally the tilapia as example. So that will be the base for this. So if you haven't watched how to make fish feed videos, especially the main two ones, please go ahead and do that, because that will be really helpful to understand these concepts in the shrimp nutrition. So let's start it off. And I will try to be short. I know this could go really deep, but we in this our first video on this thing, we try to keep it concise so that people understand it and you grasp the basic concept behind it, and then we can dig deeper after we are finished with that next time. So in this special lecture or video, so we will only focus on, because the shrimp feed normally have two different types of feed. We have also the crumbs, which are in the start phase, like we are talking about the when the shrimp is like a baby. So larva nutrition is not really the focus today. So the focus is the easy part, and that is the pelleting part. Once your shrimp is a little bit bigger, so we are talking about the grower phase. Many companies or many people or farmers have different type to way to distribute these phases. So let's say we are talking about the last two stages in the grower part, when we are thinking about 4+ gram of shrimp, or in some cases uh, 2 to 4. So, and in this case, the pellet size is normally 2.2 to 2.5 millimeter. Yeah, if you have seen the tilapia videos, you understand that this is have some similarity with tilapia. So in tilapia, for example, 3 millimeter could be a nice size in most of the cases. So in this case, in this phase, grower phase, so we're talking about 2.2 to 2.5 millimeter, the pellet size. And so yeah, so the larva nutrition is different compared to the grower nutrition, grower shrimp nutrition in this part, because in the early on, we have high protein diet. We are talking about 40 plus uh, uh, protein percentage in the feed, and which many people like you call that crude protein level. So crude protein level is quite higher in the larva nutrition, but there we have also the different the feed look differently. So then we are not focusing on that today. So here we are talking about the grower, and there we are targeting at 35 to 40% of protein, roughly. So and then when it comes to the lipid or fat, this is mainly the you to understand it, think about oils. So the lipid source is 8 to 10% or under 10%, or it could be even low, like you can say even less when you are using it really depends upon the ingredients you are using. And the energy source is mainly the lipid source, which is also the energy source. So the energy the shrimp consume also come from the fat part. So So a little bit about the protein overview here, the kind of sources you can use. So mainly, of course, you can use the animal protein sources and you can use the plant protein sources. But I mostly focus today on the animal protein sources and especially the byproducts, because this is what we normally promote and talk about when people want to have their recipes being done with this thing, or especially on this channel. So we're talking about poultry meal, the byproduct coming from the poultry. They are really excellent source of protein for the shrimp. You were talking about blood meal, very high on the protein. We're talking about feather meal. They are all really high on protein. And then we are talking about some plant protein like wheat gluten, or you understand corn gluten, wheat gluten, soybean meal. So these could be also for the plant, the protein which comes from the plant. So these are the main protein sources which you can actually use without worrying about the protein. Um, so basically this is it. So you need a high quality protein, or high content protein. So these ingredients can give you that. So let's move to the next. So next we are talking about energy sources. So as we have said, like this is something, the lipid is coming as a very great, like the main source of energy in this thing for shrimp. And there is also another issue when it comes to the feeding behavior of shrimp. So shrimp is a very messy eater. It's The feeding behavior is a little bit messy. So this lipid is actually a nice thing when it comes to catering the need for shrimp for the energy sources. Um Move further. So mainly in case, for example, you have to add the fat sources if you cannot attain with the ingredients you're adding, if the energy level if is not getting to that level of 18 to 20, then you can actually add this type of oils like canola oil or soybean oil to supplement that. So this could be the source of lipid in this thing. Further, yeah, so this part, which is as we are trying to stick to the basics, this is the introduction today. We have to mention the amino acid profile here. Amino acid profile for shrimp feed is extremely complicated. You have many these amino acids which you have to add to keep the protein profile right, amino acids the profile right. So the mainly we have to add arginine, lysine, and leucine. So if you really kind of if you go through other videos, we haven't really discussed a lot about the amino acids, because the amino acids we don't normally have to add other than the feed we are having in other species. But in this species, in shrimps, it's really important to have specific amino acids added. And for to cover the amino acid, I can prepare another lecture for that, because this is really important part for the overall nutrition in shrimp feed. And in today's video, we normally have all mainly covered Vanamai. We haven't think about too much about the other species. Many things are similar, but still there are minor differences. But for the introduction part, I would say that we have covered fairly enough. So if I want to summarize this, I would say we are talking about complicated amino acid profile. We're talking about the protein, plant protein, animal protein, fairly lot of choice you have. We are discussing about lipids, and because the why I said previously it has many similarities with tilapia, because if you remember tilapia have roughly the same protein and lipid requirements, like the shrimp. So if you really want to get hold of your concepts in this thing, I would say you go for that video which we have. I will also leave that in the description. And I think for today, to start with and jumping into this shrimp videos, this thing I have started today, and I ask you guys, if you have any question, send me the email, contact me, and then I can make new lectures on different topics related to that. I wouldn't take it too long today. So I would say that thank you very much for listening. I hope you don't have that scare which you might had related to the shrimp nutrition, because it could be quite intimidating you because of the process, but it is much more simpler compared to the extrusion. It is a pelleting process, and it is more like the chicken uh, the feed process, if to give you some idea if you have background in that. But thank you very much for today, and I will try to produce more lectures on these topics, and just keep it coming, keep telling me what to do next, and I will prepare for you. Thank you very much.